Hello, crafty friends. Good morning. Happy Tuesday and happy almost New Year. We are almost there. One more day and we're going to be springing in to 2026. It's hard to believe, right? So tell me, did you have a good Christmas? I would love to know. Leave a comment as you're hopping on today. Say hello. Let me know maybe what was your favorite activity that you did at Christmas. We have had several days of no school, so we have done lots of activities around our house, and I will just share with you one of my favorite moments of our holiday break. So you guys know we have Henry, our son. He is 8 now, 8.5 actually, and he's difficult to buy Christmas gifts for. He has special needs, he's nonverbal, and so we're always trying to come up with things that will hold his attention. He's very he loves to do lots of different things. He's always on the move. So we're always looking for that gift that's going to hold his attention that he really loves. And so this year I ended up finding a drum pad. So it's a flat surface that's kind of made out of silicone. And then you use drumsticks like you would a normal drum set, and you just drum on this drum pad. And it still has like the circles on it that look kind of like a drum set. And so we got him a drum pad, and he sat in front of his drum pad and drummed for an hour, which is unheard of at our house, and it really made us feel good. Like, we got him something that he really loves. And of course he got other gifts too, but it was just one of those kind of sweet moments where you just watch him so much joy having fun with his toy. So I would love to see what was joyful for you guys during this holiday season as you're hopping on. Looks like Gail says you're still doing Christmas. We still have one Christmas celebration to go. Our plans got changed a little bit. Whitney's family sadly was all sick for Christmas, and so we didn't get to do our gift opening and our Christmas Eve dinner like we were planning, but we're planning it for New Year's. So still doing some Christmas things. So oh, that's fun. Barbara says a drum pad was her son's first step toward being a great percussion musician. So that's awesome. I love that. I didn't even know they were a thing until I saw another parent post about buying a drum pad, and I thought, Henry would love that. So yes, Jan says he was little drummer boy. He was our little drummer boy. So very fun. Well, good. I'm glad you guys had a good holiday, and are you ready to ring in the new year? There's always, we can talk about this as we get crafty, but everybody's New Year's plans are a little bit different, and I can say mine have definitely changed over the years. Going out and staying up till midnight to ring in the new year just isn't fun anymore. So we don't stay up late, but we usually find something fun to do. And this year we do, hopefully, crossing our fingers, get together with Whitney and her family now that everybody's on the mend and feeling better. So, all right. Why are you guys here today? Well, if you've been paying attention, then you have probably seen that today we are sneak peeking our every order freebie for 2026. So if you're newer to Tailored Expressions, if you've ever placed an order, you get a free item with every order that you place. And for the last couple of years, we've been following themes throughout the year, making it sort of a collectible that people look forward to each month with their orders. And this coming year is no different. We have a really fun collection for you, and I'm super excited to get to debut it today. But I do want to make sure everybody knows that the freebie with every order doesn't start until January 1st. So it is December 30th, tomorrow's the 31st, and then starting on January 1st, the every order freebie that I'll be sharing with you today will be put into orders. So, are we ready? Let's see who's here today before we get going with the kind of crafty reveal portion of the video today. Let's see. In the Midwest, we watched the ball drop. Let's see, I missed that. And go to bed. Yes, that's awesome. Spending New Year's Eve with my husband and daughter, probably watching the East Coast feed. I love that. They're always the first to drop the ball. So you can even, trick your kids into thinking it's midnight, even though it's not yet. Rachel says your nails are ready for New Year's Eve. Oh, that's fun. And let's see, game night on New Year's Day. That's fun, watching parades and playing fun games. So, of course, it's a big football day, so lots of people probably watching football also. All right, well, should we get to it? Lots of you are super excited to see what is going to be revealed today. So let's bring this down here and show you guys this little envelope you have come to know and love. This is what you will find in your orders, and inside you will find your monthly freebie. We are doing a stamp again this year for the free item. Let's open it up and get it out. And then, of course, we're going to craft together with it as well. So this year, we are following a collection that we are calling Critter Crew. And your first critter in the crew is this adorable turtle. Look at that. Can you picture it? Super cute. Now let me show you the sticker that also comes with your order. This is our January 2026 sticker. We've got our little turtle in a Polaroid, like he got his picture taken out in the field. And we are going to have you guys put these stickers then onto our collection card. So I am going to show you the collection card. It's very similar to what we did last year. This collection card is not available until, I believe it's January 13th. If that is a Tuesday, that is the correct date. And we will be doing a whole intro of this collection with some add-ons that you might want to use with your critters as the year goes through. So for now, I'm just showing you this, but it will not be available for purchase until January 13th. And this little sticker that's designed to fit on the collection card. So if I pull this up into the screen, you can see we've included a tiny little dashed line on the panel so that you know when you receive your little Polaroid of your critter, it's going to continue as you fill in this little card all through the year with your different critters. So we have our turtle, and I'm going to go ahead and place it onto the panel here right inside that little stitched line. There it is, our first one for January. Then the stamp itself comes with a piece that is covering the cling mount on the back, so you'll just peel that off. And then this is not sticky to the touch, but it will stick to surfaces like glass, acrylic, laminate, which these are laminated header cards, so your stamp can just stick to the back of that. And you'll continue to collect each critter throughout the year, and I know you guys are going to be so excited about these fun critters as you see each month what is being released, and you collect their little Polaroids and put them on the collection card. And I'm excited. Susan's actually going to be doing the live on the 13th, so she's going to be sharing that product with you, the new add-on products. And then the other exciting thing, I actually don't have it here in front of me, but as we did last year with our flower stamps, A Year in Bloom, we will also have the coordinating dies for your critters, and each one can be ordered on the first of the month. So the stamp comes free, and then the die, which coordinates with that, is available for purchase separately. So I am going to be using the die today as we craft together. The other thing that I don't have in front of me, every month, along with the coordinating die, we are going to be releasing a small set of sentiments that coordinate with that month's critter. So for example, the sentiments releasing on January 1st, it's a small clear stamp set. So it'll be one of the 2x3 stamp sets. I believe it's $5. So pretty inexpensive to get four sentiments, 4 or 5 sentiments in each set that go with the turtle. So for example, I think there's one in this set that says, sorry I'm slow, happy belated birthday, to go with the turtle. And then there's probably one that says you're turtly awesome, or some such things like that. So punny sentiments to go along with each of the stamps that we release with your freebies. So note, all of those things are coming and you can find them on the website. We'll have a special place for you to find all of the freebie items as they release each month. So we'll have more details about that in the new year. And yeah, pretty excited. All right. I love that you guys are already hoping and wanting for different critters throughout the year, so that's fun to see. We do have the entire year completed, so I won't be able to take your suggestions and actually make them happen unless they're already planned. So it'll be fun to be surprised each month as you see what the new freebie is. So I want to show you how to use some of the products that we already have in order to make a card using that cute turtle. Look at how cute this is. I was just tickled to find out that our Up for a Celebration stamp and stencil combo, it was almost designed perfectly to work with this turtle. Isn't that amazing? The turtle is tied up with this little string of balloons, and I'm going to pull in that stamp set so you can take a look at it here. This is the Up for a Celebration split stamp and stencil combo. So it's actually 2 stamps. You have the confetti around the outside, and then you have the strings here. And this part of the strings, it actually fits perfectly on to the turtle from top to bottom. So you can make that turtle look like it is tied up with balloons and kind of walking across the grass. Isn't that fun? Love it. Okay, and I love seeing all your comments fly by that you're super excited about the Critter Crew this year at TE. So I'm excited about it too. We have lots of fun add-ons planned and different things that you can do with these freebies to kind of get you excited each month to collect something new. All right, so let's get started. I'm going to start by stamping the turtle, and we're going to stamp it, color it with OLO markers, and then die cut it. I want to show you guys, I'm going to use my Misty Light here, and we'll hold it down with this magnet onto my glass board. Normally I would put one down here too, but I don't have another one right at my station, so I'll just hold off on that. We're going to put our paper in this corner down here, just like that. And then the rubber stamp is going to go on the side where when you stamp it, you can read the word rubber. So I want to put my stamp on this side so that when I close the lid onto my paper, I can read the etched word rubber here. And it's the opposite for clear. So you would put your clear stamps on the opposite side so that when you put it down, you can read the word clear. And the reason for that is probably obvious, but in case you guys aren't aware, rubber stamps are thicker than clear stamps. And so that's why one side works for rubber and the other side works for clear, because when Ileana designed this fabulous tool, she designed it so that one side has a thicker ledge than the other side in order to accommodate the rubber versus the clear. So I'm going to take that stamp, my little turtle here, and we'll go ahead and stamp it in Oreo ink. So this is our black ink that works great for OLO marker coloring or any alcohol marker coloring. And I want to make sure, I really do need that magnet. So hold on a second. This isn't flush down, and so it's kind of, my paper is moving in there. So just a second here. All right, we'll put that other magnet down here at the bottom. And now my paper is flush in that corner. All right, let's go ahead and ink this then. Oreo ink, as I was explaining, is a hybrid ink, which means that it is perfect for lots of different coloring mediums. You can use alcohol markers like OLOs. You can also use colored pencils and Gamsol. You can use watercolor. It's actually waterproof, so you can watercolor with it as well. So we're going to go ahead now and color this and then die cut it. So I'll move my Misty out of the way, and my OLO markers that I'll be using are YG 1.2, 1.4, and 1.6. I know we're all anxiously awaiting new OLO markers, and I will tell you that they have been shipped to us. Those of you who pre-ordered, you'll be getting your orders first, of course, and we are just waiting for those to arrive so we can get those sets all sorted out, and then they will be released on our website as well. So these are part of the previously released OLOs, the YG 1.2, 1.4, and 1.6, but we do have 96 new OLO markers that will be coming very soon. So I'm starting just with the 1.2. This is the lightest one. And I'm just laying down some pretty consistent color using these. I'm not going to do a lot of blending and shading today. So these colors are meant as a blending combo, but if you don't want to blend, you can get 3 unique colors throughout the turtle. All right, so this is the second, the middle, the medium color. It's one thing I love about small stamps like this, small critters stamps, is they're pretty easy to color. They're not going to take a long time, and even if you don't do all the shading on them, they're still going to turn out really fun. So I am going to add a little bit of shading here at the bottom in this lightest part of the turtle's shell, just by taking that medium color and sort of flicking it towards the inside. And then we'll take that lightest color again and pull that in towards the middle. All right, then I'm going to take that medium color, the 1.4, and I'm going to color the kind of body of the turtle, and then we'll do a little bit of shading on the body. So sometimes when I do want to shade, I'm picking the largest area to do some shading instead of shading in all of the turtle's kind of hexagon pieces of the turtle shell. They're a smaller opening, and if you just want to kind of speed things along, I pick the biggest openings to add a little bit of dimension and shading with. So I'm going to now take the YG 1.6, and I'm going to do the same thing we did here and just add a couple little flicks of color. So as I think about where to add my shading, I'm thinking about how the shell of the turtle is coming over the edge of the body of the turtle, and it's creating a little bit of a shadow. So that's how I decide kind of where to add my shading. And sometimes, I'll be honest, I just add flicks just because. Any dimension is good dimension. So now I've come back to the lighter color, the lighter pairing for this, which is the YG 1.4, and I'm just pulling that color together with the darker to give it that shaded look. Let me pull it up into the screen here so you can see where we're at. So I added a little bit of shading on the base of the turtle shell and then some shading on the body of the turtle. And now I'm going to take that darkest color, the YG 1.6, and color in these final little pieces of the turtle shell. And then we'll go ahead and die cut. So, have you guys had time to be crafty over the holiday break? I know it's often filled with family, but also I have found some, peaceful moments to do some crafty things. I came into the office over the weekend and crafted, and it's just joyful. I know crafting is my work, but a lot of times what I also choose to do when I want to do something that brings me joy is also crafting, which is such a blessing to be able to call your work something that brings you joy. That is not lost on me. So I had some crafty time over the break, and of course we are off on January 1st and January 2nd. So I might have a little bit more time for some crafting then as well. All right, let's take that coordinating die then, and we're gonna cut out the turtle. Looks like Shannon's asking if I said there would be a minimum order to get the free stamp. There is no minimum order, so every order you place gets this free item in your order. Good question. All right, let's go ahead and cut this out. Let's see, Darlene's asking, who thought of the critter idea? You know, I don't recall exactly. We usually have a brainstorm among our product development team, and we try to come up with different themes for each year. And this year, I'm having a hard time remembering, and Whitney's not here with me today, so she'll have to remind me. If it was a person's idea, we just kind of throw things out there, and we were all very excited about the idea of doing critters. So very fun little turtle. Now let's get to work on creating our background. So I have a piece of white cardstock here that is 4 by 5 1/4, and I'm gonna pop this. So I took the coordinating die for the Up for a Celebration. There's a coordinating die that cuts out this entire piece. Of course, we don't want the present down at the bottom because we want our turtle to fill in that space. But in order to space this out perfectly, I die cut this balloon element, and I'm going to use it just as a spacer for where to put my turtle. So let's just put our grass down here. I'm going to put a little bit of removable adhesive on my turtle. Okay, and then we want these balloons to sort of be, we're going to put our turtle right about here, because that's right about where the strings are going to come in and get stamped on the turtle. And then I'm going to put this here. So that means right about here is where I want my turtle. And I am going to take it off then and just put my turtle right there. And you can see it doesn't have to be perfect. We're going to be able to move this based on our stamped string, and so giving yourself a little bit of room around it. I think it's really fun to look at stamps in a new way and think about, okay, this stamp obviously wasn't made to go with this turtle, but I'm going to make this stamp work for me. And there are a lot of stamps in your collections that you can think about in out-of-the-box ways. And they might not be designed to do what you want them to do, but there are lots of ways to make them do what you want them to do, especially with the fabulous tools that we have. So I'm going to bring in the Misty at this point. I also have my Misty Clear Alignment panel. So we sell a set of these. Some of them, I have one here that is printed with a grid. So do you see that grid on there? That helps you align sentiments, making sure that they're straight. Sometimes when you just want to align an element and you don't want to have all of the lines in the way, we also have a clear panel. And these are sold in a set. So you get these 2 panels, and then you also get smaller size panels that fit in your mini Misty. So these are called Misty Clear Alignment panels, and we offer those at the TE store. So what we're going to do is put this into the Misty, and I am going to grab that stamp then that pops out of the center of this piece. And actually, I think it's going to work a little bit better if we don't put this down in the bottom corner, but instead just place it in the middle. That's going to give us more wiggle room on this piece. Okay, so here's that stamp. I am going to place it just about where I think I want it to be. So the bottom of that stamp is kind of at the bottom of the turtle, and those balloon strings then are going upwards from there. I am going to pick that up then with my MISTI, and I'm going to place in the clear alignment panel. I don't want to stamp on this paper just yet. I want to stamp on this clear alignment panel that we can wipe clean, and we can use it as an alignment tool to move our paper around and make sure it's in just the right spot. So I'm going to take the, this time I'm going to use Versafine Clair ink. Since we're not coloring with markers, we don't need this to be a marker safe ink. And I'm going to stamp that down onto my clear alignment panel. All right, now I'm going to hold this up because I think I did a pretty good job of lining the stamp up with the turtle without any trouble with moving it around. But I think we could get just a teensy bit better. So I'm going to take this piece and kind of hold on to it. And as I hold this in place, I can move this piece around and just line it up exactly where I want it on that turtle. Okay, now I'm going to hold my paper, or put my paper back down. I got just a little bit better. You can see here I got the string all the way at the bottom of my turtle, and now we can take this piece away. So we're going to stamp directly onto the turtle die cut. If you'll remember, it's just positioned in place with a removable adhesive. So we'll go ahead and stamp that down. My goal is really just to stamp onto the turtle, making sure that everything that's stamped on the turtle is stamped well. It's okay that these pieces are not. Now we're going to take this turtle off. I'm going to get something that helps me get under there because my nails, you know, they don't help with that. So come on, little guy. Okay, turtle out. We're going to set that aside. Leaving this paper in exactly the same spot, I'm going to close my lid one more time, and we're going to go ahead and stamp this again. So our turtle is actually going to cover up this part down here, but that's okay that it's stamping. It's going to give us a guide for exactly where to place the turtle. Look good? Okay, now we get to the fun part of blending our stencil artwork onto this background. So I'm going to pull out stencils number 1, 2, and 3. Make sure I have them in the right order. So this is 1, this is 2, and this is, I have 2 sets of them here, so I want to make sure I've got one of each. So 1, 2, and 3. You can find those numbers etched in the bottom corner of most of our dies. If I can get it, there it is, in the light just right, you can see that one says -1, and then I have 2 and 3. Now the thing we want to, a couple things we want to remember. In order to align this, you will see the etched alignment markings on the stencil that match up with the stamped strings of your balloons. So that's what we're going to use to align the stamped piece with the stencil. The other thing we need to remember is we're going to mask this area. We don't want to blend the present because our turtle needs to pop in that open area instead. So we want to avoid the present. And I'm going to just go ahead, if I pick this up, I can actually show you what it looks like when this falls into place. Do you see how those etched guides are just kind of falling into place over the top of the stamped image? And once I feel good about that, I can use my teal tape to tack this down. And I think I have enough room to where I don't need to use a masking paper. I'm just going to use a blender brush up in this area and avoid this area down here. So this first stencil is going to be blueberry. And I'll use my bitty blender brush. Let's see. Anne is asking, will you bundle the coordinating items? Maybe that question came a while ago and I'm just catching it, but that's a great idea. I will chat with our marketing team. The coordinating items would be just the die and the clear stamps. So there's not a lot of coordinating items with each monthly release of the critters. So I'm not sure we, need to have a bundle each month for 2 items. Unless there was something else you were thinking. Maybe you were thinking about the release that we're doing with other add-ons that's happening on January 13th. So potentially there's an opportunity for a bundle each month. I love the way you're thinking. Oh, that's fun. Let's see. Christine says, when will the new TOO teal buddy bags be available? Tiffany let the beans spill in the live where she announced the new Zip and Go bags. Yes. So Tiffany from Totally Tiffany has started a new company called The Organized Option, and we are excited to be able to continue to partner with her and carry those Zip and Go bags that you guys came to love, and unfortunately once they sold out we weren't able to get them back in until this new option arrived with Tiffany. So we will be offering those in the new year, so keep an eye out in January. Thanks, Christine, for the question. I know they're launching their products early in January, and we will be getting our shipment hopefully soon and launching those in January as well. Fun stuff. That also means the return of one of the favorite products at TE, which has been our filet storage. And I know we've gotten lots of questions about when that will be coming back in. So that's something we collaborated with The Organized Option on as well. And so those will be coming back in stock on our website in January too. So January is going to hold some fun stuff. All right, this then is Blue Raspberry on layer 2. And this one is kind of fun because I decided to stamp these balloons also. I wanted to add a little bit of a pattern. So if you have used this collection, you know that a foilet is also available for these balloons, which adds designs to the balloons, and I think that's so fun with foil. I wanted to incorporate a little bit of a design to the balloons without using the foilet. I did try to think about ways to use the foilet, and it's a little bit more difficult because you have to use the die and then you have to cut out along here, and it just doesn't look quite as seamless as it does when you just stamp directly on the turtle, and it really looked a lot better, I thought. But I wanted that pattern, and so I grabbed one of our clear stamp sets. This is called It's a Date. This is a small 2x3 stamp, and this would also be the size of the stamp of the coordinating sentiments that I talked about. So it's a smaller set, but it has lots of fun little icons, and I grabbed the star. So with this stencil still in place, I'm actually going to pattern these balloons with a clear stamp, making sure that I get it inked well. And this is just the same color ink, Blue Raspberry. And you can stamp kind of off on the stencil material to get a partial star onto the balloon. Fun and easy way to add a pattern. Yes, Michelle, I haven't gotten used to pulling all of my new tools out yet. It's actually right here. Michelle was asking, where's my new Doodly Boop stamping tool from the Advent calendar? And now I feel like I really missed an opportunity there to use my little Doodly Booper. But I hope you guys are enjoying that. It's a fun a little acrylic stamp handle that's a little bit easier to hold when you're using those small stamps. So I'm sure Whitney set it up here thinking Taylor needs to use this, and then somehow I managed to grab my acrylic block instead. All right, let's take off layer 2 and we will grab layer 3 then. So final layer, here's my layer 3. This one is going to be candy corn, and it's actually a little easier for me to grab this and line it up when it's closer to my face. So I'm going to pull it into the camera here, and you can also see where those balloons meet up with the strings. So you can use your, stencil openings as a visual cue to align this as well. And then candy corn on that final layer. Getting there. We do have portions of these balloons that overlap, so as you're choosing colors for your balloons, just make sure that they look nice when they're blended together. There we go. Cute, cute. This is where our turtle fits in, and then our grass down at the bottom, just like this. I'm gonna go ahead and stamp this piece and get that part out of the way, and then we'll stamp our confetti around the outside. So here we have the plaid background stamp. I'm gonna do a little trick, and sometimes I do this when I'm feeling a little bit lazy. So today, as we get into the new year and I've had lots of rest, sometimes what I mean by that is I just don't want to get this out and put this in my MISTI. And I have a lot of success with this method. And if this is not for you and you like the precision of being able to stamp it over and over again, please do that. But sometimes when I'm just stamping a little piece or something along those lines, I'll just ink up part of the stamp here. This is our plaid background, and then I'll lay the paper down onto the stamp instead of putting it on my MISTI. And sometimes I put a piece of scratch paper over the top and rub it. Other times I just rub it with my finger, and sometimes I even get ink on my finger, and I'm okay with that. I live on the edge. And then when you pull that up, you've got a perfect stamped piece. All right, this one I am going to use my MISTI for because I want a little bit more precision and the ability to stamp it over again if I need to. So let's go ahead and grab the full-size MISTI again. I'm going to place this down. I've still got a little bit of adhesive to hold this in place. And then we're going to use the pop-out portion, or the outer portion of this pop-out. So we have this pop-out stamp. Here is where we're going to use to align the strings of the balloons inside. So what you're looking at are the black strings and making sure that they are kind of positioned, centered inside of this opening, because that's where your strings would fit back in. We don't need this piece right now. We only want to stamp the outer edge. And if you're still unsure if you got it in the right spot, then let's pull out this piece again. I'm going to wipe this off just with a baby wipe. Comes off really easily. And then we can just reuse it again with a new stamp. I need to dry this. I dry things on my jeans, so hold please while I do that. We're going to place this over the top then, and I'm going to take the confetti cake ink and ink up that stamp. And then we're stamping it down onto the clear alignment grid so that you can see Now it is very light on there, but you can see that it is placed perfectly. If you want to see it a little bit better, you could use a darker ink, like I was going to try to find my blue raspberry here. This might be a little bit darker, just a light inking so that we can see that better over the top. There it is. Now I do want it to be lighter on the background, so I'm going to move back to the confetti cake ink to ink this. I'm just going to quickly wipe the blue raspberry off so we get a better true color of the confetti cake around the outside. We'll dry this off with one of my cloths here. And then we can remove this clear piece that was helping us with our alignment, and we'll go ahead and ink this with the confetti cake. Okay. I do have my don't want to stress today, just press tool. That looks pretty good. I see a couple spots that could just be a little bit more intense, so we'll go ahead and ink this a second time. All right, there it is. We got one more step on this before we start assembling everything. We need a sentiment, and we're going to do a little bit of blending. So I'm going to take that confetti cake ink here and blend it around the edges. I wanted to bring in just a little bit of that color. I kind of wanted this to look like the turtle was outside, and so making that background look a little bit more like a sky by blending in some of that light color from the edges. I'm not going to bother going across the bottom because we're going to have that plaid grassy piece down there. All right. Let's bring in the misty light again, and we're going to stamp our sentiment then. Put my magnets back on, and this is the rubber side then. I'm going to position that piece in there. We're going to put our stamp on this side so that when we close it, we can see and read the word rubber. And I need my stamp set, which is one of my favorite birthday sets. This was released at the same time as these balloons, so I sort of think of them as something that goes together, but I just love this birthday set. We call it All the Best Birthday because it really is all the best birthday sentiments that you need in one set. There's long happy birthdays, there's stacked happy birthdays, there's smaller sentiments that fit in the small spaces, and then there's long kind of combo of script and print. So lots of options in this set, and I'm using the It's Your Day. I'm going to position that right up here, so knowing that my turtle is going to go right about here, I want to make sure that I'm positioning that sentiment sort of in that open space right above the turtle. Now, if you want to, you can visualize this and make sure that it's straight, but another option, even with your Misty Light, you can pull in your Misty Grid panels and you can stamp that. Let me grab my Versafine Clair and you can test it out. That looks great to me. So I'm going to move this out of the way, and then I just have that extra bit of comfort knowing that the final piece of my project is going to be perfectly aligned. There it is. All right. Now really all we need to do is glue some things together. So I'm going to grab my foam tape here and we'll put the grass down first. A little bit of just tape runner. And then some foam tape on the turtle to pop it up. Need my, oh, how about this little guy? My tiny scissors. I'm sure I have another scissors around here somewhere, but we are now entering the tornado phase of crafting where everything is everywhere and finding things gets a little bit more challenging. All right, so we're lining up those strings that were stamped on the turtle's back, kind of the bow strings, lining those up so they look like they are seamlessly one stamped image. And then we'll pop that in place. I have a confetti cake card base, and I'm just going to take our thin, actually I'm going to wipe this off first because I got some adhesive and potentially some ink down there that I don't want to mess things up with. And we're going to use just our thin foam strips on the back to give it just a little bit more dimension. And you can do this or not do this part, but I do love our thin foam. You can see our roll is getting low again. We're going to have to restock that probably before the new year. I'm planning to craft after this, so I'm sure I'll have this roll gone by the end of the day today. Not the best scissors for cutting adhesive, but again, I've lost my scissors. So, when I'm in a pinch, I'll use my other scissors for this. Sometimes I like to put it back on the roll so that when I cut it, my scissors don't get goopy. Let's see. Oh yes, Paula's asking what's the thing holding the tape. So I have just a Velcro cord. I think they're cord organizers or something like that. You know, when you have a lot of cords maybe behind your TV or to hold your laptop charger and you don't want the long cord kind of all over the place, you can use those Velcro organizers. Just to keep things organized, and they do work on those tape rolls. And there are some other great products out there too. I actually need to get some of those tape roll dispenser holders from the Blue Sparkle website. So I've seen those and I've actually tried them before. Treasure has brought them here so that I could see them and try them. I just haven't gotten my rolls transitioned over to that. So that's a good option too. If you're loving the foam adhesives and you know you're just going to buy roll after roll, I do think those organizers are a great investment. The Velcro cord organizers are just what we've been using here in the meantime. Okay, here it is. We did it. We made a card out of something that you guys will be getting for free and something that's already in our collection that really wasn't intended to go with this turtle, but it works so beautifully. And I actually am excited to try some of the other critters with this balloon image because I think it could be fun. Finding different ways for the critters to be tied up with the balloons or holding the balloons. So you might see more of this Up for a Celebration set used with the critters, but we've got lots of fun stuff coming in the new year with these items. All right, let me come back to you, and we're going to talk about a couple of things. All right, let's chat for a minute. All right, so it's almost New Year's, and I have a fun announcement. Heather is actually going to be live on New Year's Day. So she is in her home up in Minnesota, and she was like, you know what? I kind of want to go live and see everybody on New Year's Day. I know everybody's kind of home, and you might have more time than usual to watch some crafty videos. So mark your calendar, 10 o'clock on Thursday. Thursday, January 1st. You will see Heather here on the Tailored Expressions YouTube channel. She will be crafting with our 100 plus freebie for the month of January. So you're going to get a first look at that. Not only with every order do you get a freebie, you also get a free item with purchases of $100 or more. And that changes every month as well. So we are excited to share that with you. I've seen her projects and they are beautiful. And then we are leading into kicking off our first release of the new year on Tuesday. So Whitney and I will have the release reveal for you on our Fans of TE page on Facebook. So that will be up on Saturday, and you can get a first look at what's coming next week, Tuesday, when I will be back doing another live and crafting along with you guys. So I'm excited to see you then. I hope you have a wonderful New Year's Eve and a fabulous New Year's Day, relaxing and getting ready to tackle 2026. All right, everybody, have a good one. We'll see you in the new year.